Hey guys, Tom at TPC Racing here. Today I'm doing a video on installing the TPC Racing seat angle bracket on the GT3 RS. I've made this video before, but this one's going to be special to me because this is going to be on my personal car. So behind me is new to me 2016 GT3 RS. The reason for this mod is to improve the seating position for both street and track. So far I've put about 300 miles on this car. For me, the stock seating position puts the driver in an upright, almost 90-degree seating position. Here in my hands are the TPC Racing seat angle brackets designed for the 991 series lightweight bucket seats. They are a CNC machine from 7000 series aluminum, so they're very strong, very sturdy. And by installing these exact fitting brackets to the profile of the seat here, this is going to raise the front part of the seat and give us the angle that we need. The first thing I'm going to do is to gather the tools that I need. And we have cars and parts everywhere. Okay, so we'll start with a 3/8 ratchet, and we'll need E12 Torx socket. These are for the 4 seat bolts that bolts the seat to the floor, and a 17mm socket to loosen the seat belt bolt. Now, if you happen to have a ratcheting wrench, you can substitute this wrench for the 17mm socket. This actually makes it easier to get into the tight spaces. Before I get started, I'm going to lay out some protection for the door sill. We don't want to scratch it up. Let's put the steering wheel all the way up and forward to give us the most amount of space. All right, once we've done that, we're going to raise the seat so we can get to all the bolts. Okay, with the seat raised all the way, you can get to the front bolts here, and then the back ones here. So these are the Torx bolts that you'll be using the E12 socket on. But let's first pop this plastic cap off. For loosening the seatbelt bolt, you have a choice. You can either use a 17mm socket on a ratchet or a wrench. There's the bolt. I'm going to put this through. Just remember, when you're putting this back together, the side with the plastic cap faces outward. Using the seat slider, we're going to slide the seat so it's sort of in the middle position where you can get to both the front and the rear bolt without the railing sticking too far out. About right here is the optimum position where you can barely see the back bolt here. Onto the front. All 4 seat bolts are out. Now we're going to tilt the seat back so we can get to the yellow connector here to disconnect. Normally this connector is secured to the seat frame, but this is a used car and one of the previous owner had tint put on, so somebody took the seat out and just didn't bother to put this back. So anyway, by pulling this black tab away from the connector, this releases this part. So now the seat is ready to come out. Having done this installation a number of times, the best way I find is to tilt the seat, the head part, towards the inside. So this way you would lift the bottom and have the bottom facing outward to pull the seat out this way. And again, I can't stress this enough, make sure these rail edges, which are very sharp, don't cut the door panel or this sill here. Now put the seat on a sturdy platform. We're gonna undo 3 zip ties. That's this one, and this one. In the case of my used car, there's a 4th zip tie because whoever left this loose put this zip tie there. With all the zip ties cut, now we can raise the front part of the seat without putting pressure on these cable looms. We'll need a 13mm socket for the 4 seat bolts. We'll start with the rears first. The rears don't have to come all the way out. They just need to be loosened so the seat will pivot. This side. The front bolts do need to come all the way out. With the rear bolts loose and the front bolts all the way out, the seat will now pivot from the rail. Before I put the bracket on, I just want to highlight the features. So our brackets are individually made for the left side of the seat and the right side of the seat. These are machined to individually contour to this. You actually cannot mix the left side with the right side of the seat because it just simply won't fit because of the way this is machined to this contour. Another awesome feature of our seat brackets is this bore that's machined into the bracket itself. So this bore actually sit on this tube here. So this is a structural tube. Let me get a better angle from this side here. Here's a better view of the structural tube. It is very sturdy. See, this is welded to the inside of the factory side plate. Our bracket is machined to perfectly fit over the structural tube and maximize load distribution. There's even this extra machining step here to clear the welding spots. I'm going to verify one more time. This goes on the left side of the seat by looking at this angle here to this angle. Insert bracket onto the tube, rotate it, and then now I can put the seat down. Same thing on the other side of the seat. I just love that snap. It's very satisfying that it just fits perfectly. At this point, I put the seat in the upright position so it's easier to work with. So the bolt should go on nice and easy. 6mm Allen socket for these upper bolts. Again, should be nice and easy. Instead of fully tightening each bolt, what I like to do is just make each one snug and then go back for the final tightening. This makes sure everything seats correctly. Now go around for the final tightening. Now that the brackets are installed, I'm going to tidy up the loom by reinstalling the 3 zip ties that were cut earlier. By pushing this tab towards me, I can release this bracket. Loosen the ground cable with a 10mm socket. Disconnect this connector here. Now I can feed the entire loom through over this bar. This is as factory fit as you can get. Everything is all tidy up. Now the seat is ready to go back into the car. And I want to point out that since in the beginning we raised the seat to its highest position, and we still have plenty of slack on the cables, so when you lower the seat, you're gonna have extra slack here. Head first, careful with the sides. All right, we're in place. Now we're gonna connect the yellow connector back up. Start all 4 seat bolts by hand. Seat is tight. Now putting the seat belt back on, make sure the cap side goes outward. Feed through. Start the bolt by hand, as always. I'd like to point out that in the beginning of the video, I didn't mention there should be a plastic cap here, which just comes off this hexagon head bolt. My car is missing this because one of the previous owners had the seat taken out and they just forgot to put the cap back on. No big deal. The seat brackets are now installed. I'm super excited to drive it home. Not like I haven't installed seat brackets before, but this is my personal car, so that's why I'm super excited about it. And just a little side story, this is my first GT3 RS. I have been saving my entire life to buy a car like this, and I just feel so fortunate and blessed to be in this position to be able to have a car like this and to modify it. And so as far as the mods go, next step is the DSC Sport V3 controller. I mean, normally I would do that first, but the DSC controller has been so awesome and it's been so popular that we've been on back order for months. So we should be getting those back in stock in about a week, so that's going on. So this car is a Gen 1, so the springs are relatively soft. Having the DSC Sport controller, adding more damping force will really be a welcome upgrade for track, and also adds comfort for street cruising. And then after that will be a 4-point harness bar and some harnesses, and I'll be good to go. Thanks for watching.